Hello everyone, it's the last day of September and this is what my garden looks like right now. We'll start over here in the front yard. It's also the roadside of the house where we have our driveway. Given that this is my first real season, this has been my first full season in this garden, I've had enough time now to see how things react in different places of the garden, and that has allowed me to already start moving things around, giving them a better position, and preparing for next season. So the changes that I've made here at the front, so these two round beds have been expanded, and in the middle I have added the Rose of Sharon trees with some tiny little boxwoods that I had growing in containers as well. I did the same over there. Here I put in 2 ground cover roses and also added a few of my Cedar Morton Joy seedlings that I started from cuttings. And over here I did the Rose of Sharon in the middle, added a few ground cover roses and some lavender. This is a vanilla strawberry hydrangea that used to grow underneath that evergreen, the Japanese maple tree that used to be in the pot. What I've also done recently is expand this bed that used to be very, very narrow. You can see that it used to end basically where the plants end, and now I have used the no-dig method with the cardboard, the compost and the mulch to expand the bed. So the kids and I have been working on this bed and other things recently. Over here on this side, I have transplanted one of my endless summer hydrangeas, basically moving it from that side because during the summer period it gets really hot in here and they just burn. And I'm thinking by moving it a little bit on this side, you will have more shade in the summer. So we're going to see next summer how that does. And in lieu, I have put in other plants here, and I plan to add more things here. So it's always going to be work in progress. Now I'm going to give you a quick detailed view of the border, but I'm not going to waste too much time trying to describe every single plant because the things might be here now, but they might be somewhere else next season. Yeah, so we'll really get to see all the hibiscus. These are 3 different varieties of hibiscus trees, and we'll get to see them much better when they bloom next year, when they're all blooming at the same time. This one still has a few blooms on it, but it's completely different from the pink chiffon, which is here, I believe, and the other one is more like a lavender chiffon hibiscus tree. So I had a dahlia that I had planted here and which has fallen now due to the wind that we've been having since yesterday. I'm going to be digging that dahlia out and storing it for next season. And then I have some spring blooming shrubs that is growing here. Something hiding there in the corner. A hydrangea, strong Annabelle white hydrangea. And I've had to move my Cedar Morton Joy over here because I thought where they were before they weren't getting enough sun, so I needed to move them. And back there is Pinky Winky hydrangea. I have lots of Echinacea purpura growing here. I still have my peony leaves that I need to cut off, and I'll do that at the same time as I'm doing the trim on the Cedar Morton Joy. And then the rest of the border, I mean, you can see various things here. I have the cosmos, more dahlias. Look at this beautiful one. Look at how pretty that dahlia is. Oh, this is so beautiful. Another quite stunning dahlia here. So the dahlias on this side, they did quite well. You can see that they're still loaded with some buds that will be blooming soon, but I don't know how long I'm going to leave them. And this one, the white one here, the white pom-pom dahlia, has been so generous. So this has been quite good. And these I got from my mother-in-law. I put one at the back, and this one here, the front, is still going. Look at those blooms. Quite pretty. So I decided to leave this rose to go to produce some hips, because I saw the hips on the roses. They look quite beautiful. So I left that one to focus the energy on the hips, and I trimmed off the other ones. But as you can see, this one is still producing blooms. Look at that beautiful bloom this late in the season. So I'll probably leave this border to go as long as it possibly can, and I'll only dig out the dahlias when I see the first frost coming. I think I still have a few weeks for everything to kind of like go dormant. And here is the phantom hydrangea, which is looking stunning. I mean, the blooms are just so pretty. So pretty. However, you can see that my whole like the grass here has gone crazy. And to think that I actually reduced and cut back this grass last winter, I think this time I'll really go very aggressive and really remove like 3/4 of the grasses here, just to make some space and room for the other things that are growing. Like I have a baby blue cypress in there, and you can barely see it. You can barely see it because the grass is completely covering that. And back there I still have some evergreens that might be more visible in the winter period. All right, so that's basically it for the front garden. As you can see, everything looking quite nice. Lots of things coming up for next season, and I'm really happy with how everything is looking right now. I know I have a lot of work to do still here, but yeah. Here in the backyard, I haven't really done much except trim down my lavender. They grew quite nicely this season, and I'm going to put some containers here in which I'll be planting some bulbs for spring. I have a few more hydrangeas growing in containers here, but I'm going to be removing those as well. I planted these evergreens here. The other one on that side is not looking that well. I'm hoping that it will recover. I used to have them in containers on the north side of the garden, and they didn't like it that much. But yeah, that one is not looking well at all. It's not looking that well. So we'll see how that goes. So this is the sitting area next to the pool. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. The dahlias here in the where we have the pine tree here, they've done miserably. Like I didn't really stake them, and they were falling over all over the place. So I've already dug out most of them, and I'm going to be removing the other ones. And I don't think it was a good idea to put them here. So this is not going to be a repeat for next year. However, the flowers that they've produced, this is like the cafe au lait, I believe. This is a cafe au lait dahlia, and look at that. The old bloom is still here, but look at that new one. Quite nice. So this whole bed here, I'm going to be working on it this fall and trying to put in plants that prefer a cooler climate, because they shade here all the time. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now to my Annabelle hydrangea hedge. As you can see, it's looking quite all right. So this hedge has been quite good. It has grown so beautifully this season, providing like a little privacy when you're in the pool from the neighbors. And so that has been a very good addition. However, the Verbena bonariensis, I don't know that I'm going to keep it like this for next season. I did cut back a few of it, or some of it, And I wish I had done more of that because it bounced back, the ones that I cut off, and they even produced some blooms, and they would have stayed lower. So maybe that's what I'll do next season. I'll just cut it back and have like a backdrop that is not completely growing above the main hedge, which is the Annabelle hydrangea hedge. But overall, it's been a beautiful addition. This is the only sunflower tree that I have left. Remember, I had many of these trees growing all over the garden, and I've decided to terminate them and have just left this one for the birds. I still have some cosmos here in containers. They're still loaded with buds that are yet to bloom, so I'm going to leave that go till the end of the season. And then all my zinnias, you can see that the zinnias are not looking that good anymore, and I hesitated yesterday whether or not I should completely terminate them for this season. But they've been quite good. So if I had not cut back that grass, if I had not divided and reduced it, those there, this is what they will look like right now. They'll each look like this, and there will be no space here for any vegetable garden because this is basically covering everything here. Over here it doesn't really disturb that much because I don't have many things going on here. But there, I had to take it out in order to make some room for the vegetable garden. So now to the vegetable garden, I have decided to end my season, basically, with the exception of a few things, like the leeks that is still growing here. I have some broccoli plants that are left, some kale still going here. And I'm already in the process of preparing the beds I'm not going to do much of a fall planting in that sense. I'm going to just put in my garlic and my onions and maybe a little bit of spinach for the winter, and that is going to be it. So this broccoli here, I started them from seed, and they spend the whole summer growing and producing nothing. And I recently checked here and I saw a little tiny broccoli head coming up, so I decided to leave these plants. And as you can see that they've created so many branches. So I'm going to let that be and see what happens at the end. Now back here, my asparagus bed used to be covered with weed. I removed the weed, tried to add in some compost and some mulch, and they bounced back pretty quickly. Actually, they were supposed to be like this right now. This one is the bushiest one, and it's planted directly in the ground. This is a raised bed, and it's a bit dry, and so they hadn't done that well, especially given that they were covered with weed. But I think we will have a little harvest next year, something to look forward to. So these are some artichoke plants that I put here. I also started these from seeds. I initially had them in a container back there, but after one season in this garden, I've realized that those containers back there, they're not very practical. Like, I'm going to remove those as well and bring them more closer to this area of the garden, because during the high season everything grows so much that it's just difficult to go garden back there. So one thing that is taking over the garden if you let it, or one thing that would take over the garden if you let it, is the comfrey. I mean, I was desperate once to grow comfrey in my old garden because it just didn't grow there, and here it's like growing like crazy. I've actually had to remove a few plants of comfrey and just completely eliminate them or take them out, because they will not stop growing. Like, they grow and then they just take over everything. So I had to reduce my amount of comfrey plants to basically just these two. Yeah, I hope. But they'll probably pop up again. Look, this is one coming up here by itself. I'll have to dig that out. So back there I have my berry bushes that are still in container that I need to transplant in a better area, probably directly in the ground. So you can see that I still have some beans here and it's growing endlessly, still producing, but I've not been harvesting it. So yeah, I like the flowers on the beans though. And over here is a hedge of my Pinky Winky hydrangeas. These ones look much more different than the ones that the single plant that I have in the front garden. And it's hard to tell why it is so different. I know that they have much more sun over here, so probably they're still enjoying the warmth on this side and they're staying green. They haven't yet reached the period where they turn completely pink and the leaves start turning brown. And behind those, I have some. What is this? Oh, gosh. So that's a smaragd, a little hedge of the smaragd abovide. So that's it for the month of September. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.